You are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV Podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa! My name is Collin Austin, and my awesome, magical, mystical co-host is the one, the only, Michael Dees.
Do you just like shift F7 words to like come up with for me like magical and mystical? That's probably two things I've never been called before in my life. But thank you.
Magical, mystical, man. Come on, that's great. You don't like that?
No, I mean it's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, dude, so the first time it's happened. It was bound to happen at some point, right? It was bound to happen.
Probability says at some point. One
of our guests had to cancel on us at very last minute and was unable to show up this morning. And you know, I would say that most people would be like, all right, it's okay. Like, we'll reschedule and we will just set up another time and we'll figure it out. But I'm like, dude, I got my crew here. I got my crew here. We're ready to go. It's 8 a.m.
Don't make me drag out of bed for nothing. Man.
I know. I'm certainly not going to. I'm definitely going to get on the mic and make the best use of this time. And I thought that this would be a great opportunity to highlight some of the special people that we have within both of our companies, right? And then, you know, this thing that they do here at the podcast, they all come in early and help us do this as well, in addition to what their normal daily duties. So I thought it'd be cool to talk about, but it'd be really interesting to kind of get into the, you know, a lot of people have reached out and said, hey, we want to know a little bit more about your story. And they're like, we wish people would interview you a little bit more, which is, I mean, guys, that means a lot to me. So, so thank you for that. Like, it makes me feel really special that people want to know more about me. And I'm sure like things will come up over the years for sure. And of course, you can always reach out to me directly. Like, I'm happy to tell you a little bit about my story, but this is probably a good opportunity for some of that history to come out and talk about these, you know, this new company that we have, which is called Repaint The Wall, and its new journey and the new team members within it. And I don't know. So I'm just really excited. But before I introduce our guest, I do want to give a few shout outs to everybody who followed the instructions on the giveaway a long time ago, right? We said, hey, if you follow this process and you go like the podcast on Instagram and, you know, or connect with me, connect with, I don't know, there's like six or seven different things that you had to do. But if you did that, then we were going to give you a shout out on the podcast. So I have 4 shout outs to give to some incredible people. No Lopez of Resident Coffee Roasters, Courtney Russell, who's been on the show from Krispy Kreme Donuts. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Edward Anderson from Environments 3, and Bridget Diana from Lime Life of Alcone. So I hope I said all that right. But hey, you guys, thank you so much for supporting the podcast and for signing up for that giveaway. Mad shout out, mad love again to Rap Spot. They were incredible through that entire thing. And yeah, I'm just super, you know, excited to give some love to some people. So, but now.
What now?
Well, why don't you tell? What's going on in your world?
In my world?
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Anything?
What's going on in my world? So we just got off of Mother's Day. That was a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah, but
maybe
this
a
is
little
like
late.
airing.
Well, I mean, hey, when are we at?
That's the hard part about the podcast is like you're trying to be in like
June
present
17th.
time. Yeah,
right,
no,
so
it's like May 14th.
It's May 14th. We're airing June 17th. So you want me to say what's going on in June 17th?
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day like a month ago.
Happy Father's Day a week ago. No, I mean
we actually probably need to like look ahead and like
predict the future.
Yeah, predict the future.
So Game of Thrones, the ending was awesome. I mean, there were dragons, there were fire. I don't even watch the show. So.
Yeah, the final.
Everybody important died.
So as of today, the finale has not aired, you guys.
We got predictions though. Can we please get predictions?
Predictions.
I mean, I think Tony just nailed it. Everybody's gonna die.
Well, I can tell you right now, like I 100% predicted what was gonna happen in the second to last episode, which is the one that just aired. Yeah.
Was there any product placement in this last episode?
I mean, there was a whole Starbucks store in there.
Daenerys is eating Cheetos in the background. I don't know.
I mean, I like the fact, real quick, that the show, I mean, this is what TV shows do, right? They like will build so much hype around a character for season after season after season after season. and then she went nuts. She went psycho. She went psycho, and that's it. one episode to ruin all of that build up. I mean, it was. To be honest, I was like a little disappointed, but like.
That sounds like Hollywood.
Yeah. But anyway, we actually need to introduce everybody.
Let's do it.
So actually, like, I'm gonna let you guys go through and introduce name, title, company. That's so much fun to say. Like, we got more than one. So Genesis, you first.
Oh, okay.
Speak up, Genesis. Get right into that mic.
All right.
Don't be scared.
Hi, everybody. My name is Genesis. I work for Repaint, and I'm an account manager / content creator. And yeah, it's been fun.
And you just started when?
Oh God. I started in January, kind of. Like, for those of you that don't know, I started with NS4L with Mike.
Which is New Scooters for Less.
Yeah.
That's our abbreviation. Yeah. Some people might not know.
That's true, yeah. So I started with New Scooters for Less last August, and then kind of transitioned my way into Repaint. And it's been one heck of a ride, just transitioning and being a part of both teams. So
that was a good way of transitioning, because you originally came in and had a.
We actually interviewed both companies interviewed you at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was going to go, so it was just a funny.
I won.
Yeah,
I won.
you did.
And then I lost, but I won.
But you did have like that desire to do social media work.
Yeah, I did.
And we knew that, so we
yeah.
really wanted to kind of cultivate that. And
Yeah.
that was cool.
Here I am, a little seed drinking.
She's doing a great job too. Ronald.
I was gonna say she's actually the account manager for New Scooters for Less too. So
Yeah,
she's
which helps.
She's a saint. She has to deal with me all the time. But it does help that she has that like knowledge, the
Yeah, of course.
inside knowledge about it.
No, it's awesome.
My name is Ronald Perez.
Speak up, Ronald.
Can you hear me? my
Yes.
guy?
Yeah, it's good.
I'm a producer and director for the production side of Repaint the Wall, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I like to say badass videographer.
Right.
I mean, dude, his work is awesome. Been doing an incredible job. It's been a lot of fun too. I mean, you found us before. You found us New Scooters for Less time too, though. Like, this was before. I mean, you were here before we started.
Yeah, I was here when you
Repaint.
guys are still doing like vlogs for NS4L solely before.
Yeah.
Can we tell the story of how he came to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear this story. I've never heard it. So.
Just, I mean, okay, so you started working at PDQ. That's where you're working
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll let you tell the story, but like, how did you find Collin? How did you decide that you wanted to work for us? How did that happen? I think it's a good story. I know it. I just want you to tell it.
I had a friend that was doing photography. He saw the ad on Facebook for an internship. And I was like, I mean, an internship is cool, but like, I'm gonna get a job. So I showed up. I interviewed with the guy at the time. I don't know if Austin, if we want to say his name. And he was like, yeah, we don't have like a job position. We just have an internship. And I was like, nah, I'm good. It's cool. Then I went on a cruise, and I was like, I still want that job. So I DM'd Collin. I was like, yo, like, I want a
Power
job.
of the DM.
Power of the DM. I was like, yo, like, I want a job, and like, I think I can be an asset. I think I can bring value. So let me do something free for you. Let me work, and let's just see where it goes. I did some work. He liked it. Didn't have a job for me at the time, but I was like, yo, like, I'm making $240 a week at PDQ. Like, if I can make that and just work as many hours as I need to a week, like, I'll do it. And then we went from there, and now I'm here.
The hustle.
Yeah, that built quick though. It wasn't at $240 a week very long. I mean, so you were doing that, and you had done what was it? The Adley Bullseye video, right?
I did the Adley Bullseye and the Wolf Islander video.
Yeah. I mean, and it was great. I mean, I definitely think that's a way to prove yourself, is to show what you can do, show what you're capable of, and he certainly did that, and it was awesome. And you know, the opportunities just kind of lined up right in that time, and you know, he then took over doing the vlog, and then just from there it was like, all right, we're gonna keep doing more and more. And then really, I think, you know, we talk about when we knew Repaint had kind of launched. Right, was when we had done, and I don't know how many other people know this story, but we, you know, this, I don't, have I talked about it on the podcast before? Sorry if I repeat things, that's probably gonna happen over and over and over, but like, you know, we were doing a a promo video to highlight that we were the #1 genuine scooter dealer in the country because we had received that plaque. So we were highlighting that. We had always been vlogging. We're like, okay, like let's make a promo video because this is kind of cool. We'll highlight this accomplishment, something that we hadn't done really much before. Like highlight this accomplishment. We'll use this video to target college students on Facebook, Instagram, etc., and say, hey, don't come buy your scooter from the #1 dealership in the city, come buy your scooter from the #1 dealership in the country. And we were going to run that. But what we did was we made that video, and it was all about new scooters for less. And it was awesome. It was a great video. but I looked at you guys and I said, let's make a second cut of this video.
Put the thing down, flip it, reverse it.
Like, let's make a second cut. Let's cut out new scooters for less. Let's insert Genuine Scooter Company, who is the distributor. Let's insert their information and make it as if we were making it for them, knowing that the rest of the dealer network across the nation could benefit from the use of the video. And let's give it to them. And we gave it to them. Social media, gave it to them to use on social media for people to use. A lot of dealerships put up screens and stuff inside of their dealership and have like
just rotating
promo
stuff.
So we gave it to them, and they came back and they're like, Collin, this is awesome. How much would it cost for you to do this for every scooter model that we sell? I don't know. I was like, we don't sell video, we sell scooters. And I really didn't know what to say, but that was kind of like that was like one of those first light bulbs of like, man, we're actually good at that. We know what we're doing when it comes to video. We really know what we're doing when it comes to vlogging and creating content. And so I was like, man, we could do this. And then of course now our skill set when it comes to, we're doing everything. We're creating content on the fly, New Scooters Flat doing the vlog, and I'd say the vlog has transitioned a lot from being very documentary style to being created and intentional and subject oriented based on what's happening, and that kind of goes back and forth. But it's just been interesting to see the evolution of these businesses, and it was super interesting because I've told everybody at the beginning of 2018 we had zero intention on starting a media agent. I thought I would at some point. Like I thought I'd be doing something in marketing at some point in my career, in my life, but like had no intention. It wasn't like when we started January 1st, we were like, all right, goal this year is to start a new media company. Like, let's go. That wasn't the case at all. And so it kind of just organic. It just kind of... That's a great ringer there, Ronald. It just kind of organically happened, and it was good. So, I don't know. I'm excited about all the things. And we can get into more of that, but...
But before we do, we have one more guest.
Yeah, we do. This is the first time. Not only is this the podcast where the scheduled guest didn't make it, but this is the first podcast where we have three guests on the podcast.
That's called making lemonade out of lemons.
Dude, somebody who's been here. How long have you been here now, Tony?
It's going to be 3 years in August.
In August, right?
3 years. Wow. And somebody who just works his tail off. And, dude, I'm just super appreciative of everything that you do for NSFRL. But, yeah, like, give a little intro, man.
All right, well, I'm Anthony Valentine. I work for NS4L, New Scooters for Less, for all those novices out there. And I am a tech. I work on the scooters.
You're a little bit
of them and I get them running.
You're a little bit of a do everything though. I mean, we've asked you to drive, we've asked you to tech, we're asking you to do a little admin on the service side of things now. So he's
we've
humble.
asked you to be a podcast sound, podcast sound
engineer
and help make sure that I don't press the wrong button.
He's definitely a versatile guy to have around. He's a do everything, and over 3 years, I mean, he's been a huge help to everything that we do at New Scooters for Less. So
yeah,
I learned at a very young age that wherever you work, if you can't do whatever they ask you, you become invaluable real fast. So it's either figure out how to do it, or you're gonna be seeing the door pretty soon. So
that's true. Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions for you guys, right? So, well, Tony, I'll start with you. Mm-hmm. How the hell can you work on the same thing over and over and over and over and over again without getting sick and tired of it? Because, like, I just think, I mean, like, I get it. Like, some people just love mechanics. Maybe that's all it is. But, like, dude, if any, like, those of you know, I mean, going back to early days, I mean, hey, startup life, New Scooters Plus, I've worked on plenty of scooters. I was never, like, a mechanic, but, like, I would actually say I'm like in the top 10%
Right.
because of how many scooters I've like serviced over the years through learning, like literally shadowing you guys and seeing everything that you guys do. But even though I'm pretty confident I can fix, the majority of scooter problems, I absolutely hate it. Like I absolutely hate it. Like I don't even want to get the grease under my, not that I'm like afraid of dirt or anything, but like I just don't want to
phase
do
of
that.
life is
I don't want
over.
to, I don't want to do that over and over and over again. And it just seems super tedious. Like, what is it for that mechanically inclined person that where's the joy come from, I guess?
Well, the one thing is there's never ever the same thing going on with every scooter. Every scooter has a different problem, a different issue. Yes, when you're doing oil changes, it does get very tedious, and I did that for a while. But now that I'm doing more of the problems that come about, it's not boring. It's not tedious. I got to figure out I'm going to get this to work. So it's actually challenging.
When it's really just an oil change, it's I'm just here for an oil change. Okay. Oh, and by the way, my brakes don't work.
That's true too. It's never just an oil change.
I probably would have led with that, but
Oh, by the way, well, some of these kids will ride around without brakes. They're just like, what are you doing?
the things that some of these students do at UF amaze me. We won't get too far into that, but sometimes seeing 3 or 4 people on a scooter with no brakes is never what you want.
Yeah.
Don't do
If you
that.
let go of the throttle far enough, you'll stop eventually.
Right. It's it's a lot of physics.
Pump those brakes. Yeah,
Right.
just pump them.
Yeah, so Tony, tell me like a little bit about what is the team thing? Like, okay, let's go back to last year, right? Because you kind of have like a ground level perspective on this, right? COE, Chief of Everything, Collin Austin goes, hey, so we're gonna start a new company this year. And like, what was your first thought and all that? Like, be honest with me though. I want to know if like, did the team just think that I was like off my rocker, or did they were they kind of like, oh, this is cool, something new, or were they?
Well, of course, everyone thought you were crazy because whenever you try something new and something outrageous, people think you're nuts. But really, the first exposure that we got with this company majorly was the whole genuine thing. So you were already starting to do something with it and actually got a company involved in making money off of it when it really became a big deal with the actual repaint part. Mm-hmm. We were starting to get used to the cameras and the whole idea of the media before then because of the vlog. So I don't think it was that big of a shock, but I know back there it started really buzzing big when you were doing the genuine video. So it was.
Were you already working here when we started doing the vlog?
Yeah.
So you already were here. So when I said, okay, we're going to start vlogging, we're going to start showing behind the scenes, we're going to like literally have a camera here all the time, following me around, capturing all this stuff. Like, what was your first thought? Because I think a lot of this is going to be super interesting, because I think a lot of businesses have come to me and said, like, I don't know if I can get my team on board. I don't know, so maybe we can kind of dive into that. Like, hey, how can you get your team on board? I mean, what was your first thought, though?
Why were we doing that? No, seriously. And then after that was all the crazy thoughts, like the scooter jousting and like what could we put on film to be outrageous? Like that's where my mind
never did that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That
Unfortunately,
was just a brainstorm idea that never came to fruition.
yeah, but
Everybody was just like, why?
yeah, why? And for me, I was just starting here, so I didn't question too much more because I just had started here. So I thought it was kind of like what you did, because the way the whole place was operating was different than normal businesses. So I thought it was
true.
just part of your whole progression of what you guys were doing here. So it really didn't throw me completely off.
Yeah.
Now, some of the other ones that were here before me, I don't know what they were thinking, other than why. Why are we doing
what about you,
this?
Genesis? Because you came in, that was an element that was already here.
Yeah.
So like, was it just
So
weird, or even when you were hired, like, did Mike say, hey, just to prep you, like, we have a camera that's always here?
So no, he did not. But,
I definitely didn't.
but I'm not too shy with the camera. I mean, this is totally different. But when I came on board, I kind of knew about the vlogs just because Stephanie, she like would always tell me about like you filming, or like how she hates being on Snapchat. So she would tell me like, oh, look at me on my boss's Snapchat, and she'll show me. So I kind of knew that was part of it, and having like that social media or wanting that social media background.
And Stephanie's another team member.
Yeah.
Shout out to Steph Gar.
Yeah, Steph Curry. So having like social media, like already wanting to be involved in that, I didn't really care. But I just thought it was part of New Scooters for Less. Like I thought that was the thing was that. So yeah.
So I mean, did anybody, including myself, ever explain why? Or do you guys?
think you did at the time. You were saying that it's just part of the whole thing, that the students, this is the kind of things that they're into. And I mean, that's the gist I gotten from this business from the beginning, was that it was geared for the generation right now and what they're into. You know, so you're doing the Instagram and all that stuff that you do, all the social media.
Yeah. I mean, I guess,
an aspect.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I've definitely been, I think when it comes to marketing and media in general, I've always been very forward thinking. I would say a lot of people look at me and say that guy's very forward thinking, which I appreciate, but even I feel like I'm behind the curve in a lot of stuff. And even when it came to like, you know, like vlogging and like creating video content, I mean, we had a YouTube account early that just kind of sat there unused. We could have done a lot more with it in the early years. And I kind of beat myself up over it a little bit, because I was like, I had a business in 2006. Guess what? YouTube came out in 2006. If I was creating content in 2006, we'd have millions of subscribers at this point. We would have way more influence in the industry that we're in. And I would say we're one of the top influential companies, scooter companies out there. You know, so from that standpoint, I beat myself up, but then I like reflect back to 2006 and be like, there ain't no way in hell I would have had time to do any of that, because I was still like very much a one-man show.
And there probably would have been more than one scooter jousting video at that point if we did it back in 2006.
Yeah, that was...
Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's true. But like, you know, I look back to that time and I'm like, man, I did not, you know, take advantage of it. But at the same time, it was because I was still very much a one-man show. There was just, you know, me and a couple other people. So it's interesting. I mean, like my biggest reason, like, and why, like, hopefully you guys know this by now, is very much to take New Scooters for Less from a local brand to a national one. I think, you know, when we look at the power of video, especially in 2019, like it's just very easy to get your messaging out there. And one of the things that I'm even, you know, preaching about to clients and like trying to educate clients on today. I mean, we have a handful of clients that are specifically reaching out to us to help them develop YouTube channels, which I think is fantastic and a very important thing to have. But the reason I believe in YouTube so much, even in 2019, is because Google owns YouTube. Like the SEO and the ability for your business to be seen. Like you go to Google right now. Like everybody who's listening, go to Google right now, type in how to kickstart a scooter. Like you're going to find not one, but 2 New Scooters for Less videos that are at the top of that Google search, not YouTube search, Google search, that then you click, takes you to YouTube. And I mean, that from a branding ability and a brand awareness on a national level, I think is great. And those videos have, you know, I think one of them has like 150,000 views. So, I mean,
what's wild is you start to see that play out here in the showroom. And I think Jen could talk to you about that too. Like we'll get on the phone with somebody and they're having trouble with their scooter starting, and we start troubleshooting with them over the phone. And you get to a point where it's like, okay, we've kind of tried everything that we can do over the phone. Hey, let's just go ahead and get you a pickup scheduled here. And they're like, oh, no, I'm not in Gainesville. And you say, oh, where are you? Oh, I'm in Iowa. Wait, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we just found your video on YouTube. So it's like you start to see that stuff already come through. And it's just kind of wild. We kind of have to like redo our conversations on the phone, because we've always operated on the assumption that we're talking to the local public, and now we're talking to a national public.
Yeah. So the question that everybody asks at that point, especially from a business side, because look, like I get it. I'm a small business owner. Everybody's all concerned about ROI, right? Like your return on the investment, the time that you were doing, making these videos. Like what is the person in Iowa finding the video doing to help you with your business? I mean, where's the opportunity there?
Right. So the opportunity, I mean, for one, it's like kind of like you said, you're building awareness and you're putting yourself on the map. one thing that you can do is, whether it's repair videos or anything like that, is start plugging parts. We're giving them information and then giving them an outlet to buy the parts that they need for some of their repairs through the YouTube links and stuff like that. So then we can start, an e-commerce segment of our business and start supplying. I mean, maybe this person out in Iowa doesn't have a dealership or somebody that knows how to repair scooters nearby, and that's all they have is just, like you or me would just go to YouTube and figure out how to change the shocks on my 95 Ford Mustang. Like, there's nobody to do it, so like you just learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. It hasn't broken down yet. But yeah, I mean, like, so figuring out a way to from a business side, grow out some e-commerce, but you're also still, I mean, you're supplying knowledge and tools to people that need them. So
yeah, well, and the other side of that, something that I have talked about multiple times, is that some people are going to say, oh, but by you teaching them how to change the shocks on their 95 Mustang, well, then they're not going to bring it to your automotive store to get the shocks changed, which could be true.
Right.
Like, there's definitely those people out there. I'm not saying that they're not out there. They definitely are.
Right.
I mean, I literally had no choice but to replace the automatic thing in my window, like my auto, the
motor?
electric.
Oh,
I had to change. Yeah, no, I had to change the motor. I had to take this door apart, and I had literally no one could do it. Like, the dealership could do it. They wanted $700. I look at the part. The part's $70. I'm like, all right, maybe I could do this. I didn't have the money. I needed I was on the fly anyway. I was stuck in Tampa. I'm not gonna drive up from Tampa to Gainesville, I-75 with the window down. I'm gonna fix this, So I'm like, all right. So I get on YouTube, I find it, and I bought the part and I did it myself. Did I want to do that? No. Normally I would hire that out, right? So the chances of people doing that, doing it themselves, yeah, sure. It's going to happen. But I would say that the majority of the time, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to change. I talked about this at Disrupt, right? I recently spoke at Disrupt Gainesville, and I said, look, I'm not going to do an oil change on my car. It'll take me twice as long as it would an expert. I'm going to get dirty.
There's better ways to spend your
and
Sunday.
There's better ways, better things for me to be doing with my time. Now, a lot of people will say well, you can't teach other people how to do that because they will learn how to do it themselves, and they're not going to come to you. And again, sure, there's probably a handful of those people out there, but what I do know what it does from a branding standpoint, I'm talking about branding here, is that it solidifies you as an expert in your field. Mm-hmm. As an expert in your field. So I'm all about teaching as much as you can through YouTube, and don't get me wrong, even on YouTube, I mean, through the vlogging and the documenting, the documenting part, not everything is pretty. I mean,
right.
we had that negative tweet that one time.
Yeah.
The whole day got disrupted. It was by a UF football player. We're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Where did we mess up? What's going on here? And we literally, I mean, you and I, you more than I, but spent the entire day
de-escalating,
trying to figure out what went wrong and how to how we can contact this customer, get the problem resolved, and ultimately he ended up taking down the tweet and apologized and was very happy, which is great. I mean, we definitely live in an age where it's easier just to go and talk negatively than to just reach out to the manager and ask for help. I think
it's not because we want that feedback. We just don't necessarily want it public without having the chance to fix it, internally first. But
of course. But I think it's interesting because I've had a few people comment to me about that episode saying, "Dang, that's just interesting that you guys documented that and put that out there." And I'm like, it's
because we could have chose not to.
Yeah.
We could make ourselves look as pretty as we want.
Of course.
Yeah, but in reality, nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect.
No,
So
of course not. And I think that's why, especially when you're talking about personal branding and some of the things that are, hot words in 2019, I tell people the best, what makes a great personal brand is being personal, being real, because I think social media does have this place of hey, we're going to show the best side of ourselves, and we don't really expose, we don't get transparent and show the real part. And when you start showing the real part and talking about the actually going through whatever you're going through, or the challenges of business or whatever it is, then that builds brand.
Things that people can relate to.
Yeah, of course, it's realness, it's authenticity. So anyway, it's interesting. I am grateful that vlog culture has caught on as part of New Scooters for Less's culture, because I think it's definitely important on that long-term branding, having that long-term branding mindset. But we've been respectful of people who don't want to be on camera, and we do have a few people who prefer not to be on camera, and I would love for everybody to be, but I'm not gonna force it. I've had business owners reach out to me and be like, hey, are you guys gonna, what do you do about the people who don't want to be on camera? Like, oh, don't put them on camera. Right. It's pretty simple. You see a lot of, if you watch the New Scooters for Less vlog, you see a lot of the same faces, because those are the people who are comfortable on being camera. They don't mind being on camera and taking a pause out of their day to play a role in that, right?
So, Vlog 1, Episode 1 was what, maybe 2015? Do you remember?
It was in 2015, but I think it was recorded, it was kind of a blended episode, right? Because it was like a flashback.
Right.
Because we had found, whatever reason, I had Austin film when I had him film. What day was that? Yeah, it was in 2015, July of 2015, when we took the keys to this place.
This property.
I had him like, yo, come, let's go document this. Let's go film this place because this building is literally a shithole. We need to I was like, I want people to know what this looks like when it's done, and it's my dream. I want people to see it. And so we never put that out. We never put that content out. That was saved somewhere.
Right.
And then, a couple years later, probably a year later, we had done the remodel. We'd already done the remodel and everything. So he put the flashbacks of the remodel, or of what it used to look like, and then showed what it does look like in present day. And it was that, and we released that as episode 1. It's actually probably one of the coolest episodes.
So we talked about vlog culture, how it took a little bit to catch on. That was maybe 12 years into New Scooters for Less existence. So let me ask you, what made you feel like the time was right for New Scooters for Less to start vlogging, and for any startups that are considering it, when is the time right for them? Is it something that they should do right off the bat, or when is the right time? Yeah.
And we might need to get Ronald into some of this, because he's definitely been there to see a lot of this process and understands a lot of other people's vlogs too. But I think the answer to that question, I would say that I wish we had been vlogging from the very beginning. How cool would it be that right now to have video of the early days where things were just, crazy.
Right. Well, we talk about the difference between documenting content and creating content.
Hold on. Let's say, how cool would it be to have a video of us taking those U-Hauls?
It's almost like I knew what he was going to say before he started.
I'm saying Hurricane Katrina hit. We, here in Gainesville, Florida, had, I don't know how many hundreds of generators, but we had hundreds of generators.
I do.
How many?
We took 250 with us.
Dang. Yeah. All right, so we had 250 generators. We load up 3 26-foot U-Hauls. Mm-hmm. Okay. Loaded them up.
Sorry, it was two 26-foot U-Hauls and the box truck.
That we had.
That we owned, yeah.
So I-10 was knocked out. You couldn't even get on I-10.
Yeah, right about Tallahassee. You had to start going up into South Alabama over to Mississippi before we could get to
Yeah, so we took a long route, right? We took a long route, ended up going to Baton Rouge.
The truck started, one of the U-Hauls started failing.
Of course it did. It was a nightmare. The whole trip was a nightmare, but a success, because we sold $200,000 of generators in 2 days. And it was insanity, dude. We had people sleeping on pallets in the back of the truck.
Inhaling gas fumes. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if we would have had a vlog of that, a document, if we would have had a video of that, that would have been epic. I so wish we would have, filmed that. But for us, when we started, to answer your question, when did I decide it was time to start, was when I'm okay, New Scooters for Less is starting to hit the top of this bell curve, right? We've been selling scooters on this local level. We're right here. What's next? We need to go from being a local brand to a national one. Now, that's important to me. That's not going to be important to every business owner, right? Not everybody wants to necessarily be a national brand, but I wanted New Scooters for Less to be a national influence within the industry. And And I wanted people to know who I was as a leader, who we were as a company. There's not a lot of scooter dealerships across the country that have 20 team members working for it. I would say most of them probably have 4 or 5 at most. It's like a completely different element. We've definitely taken an all-in mentality, which has stress. I mean, I could literally cut back, right? We talked about this multiple times. We could cut back so much. I could make more money, right? Could make more money and just like coast. Like I could, but I don't want to, because I'm like reinvesting. I'm putting everything right back in, and we're going for national influence and national impact, and doing it through a physical product like a scooter. I mean, it's interesting. But now, the repaint side of that is the elevation for me, right? Like that's like, okay, not only have we learned all of these skills in doing this and creating, building new scooters for less, now I can take these same skills and like help other small businesses, which for somebody who is as invested into this community as I am, I'm like, this is like the perfect chance. It's a perfect time. We can like literally take what we know and help other business owners grow, or help personal brands grow. And like, we can do that through the skill set that I've acquired over 15 years.
It was interesting too, because what we'd see, I mean, the distributors on the scooter side would bring dealers together, which was kind of a novel idea in and of itself. But they'd bring these dealers together, and then you'd find out things like they don't have websites or Facebook pages or social media engagement or anything. And you start to kind of step back and realize that that's not just scooter dealers. That's a lot of businesses that somehow, whether it's an older CEO that doesn't find importance and wants to do things, a traditional print way or anything like that, they're just resistant to that change, or they just don't believe in it the same way. And the reality is it's coming whether you want to or not. So recognizing that there's all these businesses out there that aren't taking advantage of these things, I think provides a huge platform for a media agency like Repaint to take advantage, step in, and kind of, like we talked about, like help rebranding these companies to have a bigger reach.
Yeah.
So do you think that new entrepreneurs that are starting to, develop their new business, do you think that that's something that they need to think about, is making a national brand, adding video at the very beginning, or is that?
I think that all depends on what they want as their goals. What I've learned is that there's plenty of businesses out there that are okay, making the same amount each year. They don't need to grow. They just want to be able to, that it's not their motivation, right? Like more money, more growth, more impact is not their motivation. Their motivation is working. I mean, for some people, it could mean like maybe a business owner, they get the process so good, maybe they're only working 3 days a week. You know what I mean? They're taking all that time off, and like they're spending it with family or vacationing or whatever. Maybe that's their motivation, what they want out of life. So I think it just depends on what the brands or the business's goals are. But I think one of the reasons a lot of team members have been drawn to this place, to New Scooters for Less and to Repaint, is because like I'm definitely like I've made it very clear that I want to have a national impact, that we want to make some big things happen. Right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I mean, I think you guys anybody could find a job anywhere doing this kind of work, right? Like there's plenty of agencies, there's plenty of mechanic shops, like but why are you guys here? You guys answer that.
We want to know.
This will be insight for us. Right. Like, why are you here?
Well, initially I came here because I needed a job, just like everyone else. But it's what you were doing here that's what kept me here, was the whole vibe of the place. So yeah, that's pretty much what keeps me here, is what's going to happen next. Where are we going to go next? Like, again, when I started here, there was no vlog. And then all of a sudden, now we got a vlog. Now we got a whole media company. So I'm pretty much here to see what's going to happen next. And then plus the whole becoming the biggest dealership in the world was interesting to me too. Just the fact that you wanted to do that would have been cool to go. It would be cool to go on that ride. And
do you see that growth? I mean, do you feel like we're on that path?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you're telling me that there's people in Iowa that are looking at our videos and calling us for information on how to fix something. I mean, wait till you get that first Google review from somebody way out from where we are.
We have, not necessarily from a mechanic standpoint, but that's another thing from a a sales standpoint, there's been people all the time that, I mean, this was just recently. We had somebody reach me, I think he was in the Pennsylvania area, if I remember correctly. Could not get a hold of his local dealer and really wanted, I believe it was like 2 Wolf Rugby 150 scooters. And he sent me an email, and it was like a Sunday afternoon, and I had it on my phone, so I just went and sent him a quick reply, and he's like, "You've already earned my business because you're the only one that would actually reply." We ended up,
let alone on a Sunday.
Yeah, we ended up shipping him 2 brand new scooters. You know, it was kind of one of those find a way mentalities, but like we shipped him 2 new scooters, and he wrote us a fantastic Google review about just answering the email on a Sunday, going out of our way. He couldn't get a hold of his local dealer, and just like at that point he'd started researching stuff that we do. Like I have vlog links on the emails, and you know, people start Googling, and like, SEO starts coming in, they see everything that we do. Right. And then I mean, humble brag honestly, but they start falling in love with the company and what we do and what we try to be. So you do start to see that reach, and it's cool, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
I think it's getting there. I think if we keep on the path that you're going, it's going to be, you're going to get that phone call from Austria or like Germany or something,
International.
Italy would be great.
We've had vlog stuff. I mean, you know, a lot of people comment and say, "Oh, like you don't know what the ROI of the vlog is," and I would say that actually there's a lot of truth to that. I can't see a conversion from a vlog, right? But I'm like, people are like, "Oh, well, and I've had people tell, like creators say, this doesn't provide enough value to people." You know, like we constantly, I mean, not Ronald specifically, but like videographers and stuff, we get into conversations of like, is this providing value to an audience? And I always tell people like, value is very subjective. You know, like one of the examples I always use is saying like, I don't give a damn what Taylor Swift eats for breakfast, but somebody does.
Somebody does.
You know what I mean? Like, so like value is very subjective. And I remember one of the times I was proven very right on that was when somebody had emailed you. They'd emailed you because of a vlog episode, and they said how awesome it was to put a name to the face,
right?
Because they had seen an episode where you were in it, and they're like, I know exactly who I'm talking to, and I was like, that's providing that potential customer value, just knowing who they're talking to. And then like business owner, like I've talked about multiple times, I don't know how many scooters we sold because of the vlog, but we've definitely had parents walk in and say, "Hey, is Collin here? Like we found the vlog. We were down in Miami looking for a scooter, and we realized that this was the place that we wanted to buy from because of the videos, and we would just like to say hi." Like that's happened.
Right.
So like I know that we've sold scooters because of the vlog, but like how many? Like I don't know. And like, was it worth it? Like, I don't know, maybe that could be the only scooter we sold from it. But again, I always go to, it's about building long-term brand, establishing expertise in our area. And I don't know, like I'm super fascinated. I could talk about it all day. I mean, you like from a vlogging standpoint, right? Like Ronald, let's like talk about, I mean, you see other people's vlogs, right? I mean, why are people, whether it's personal brands or businesses, like why are they creating vlogs? In your opinion?
So I mean, to provide value, but then that goes to that rule of like you shouldn't tailor your value or your vlog to somebody else's. Like you should, like if your audience wants something, don't give it to them. Just be you, and then whoever likes it joins the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Joins the ride. And so like I like watching a lot of routine stuff because I like upgrading my routine and becoming more structured. But I might not watch entertaining stuff because, like, to me, that's a waste of time. But some people might have all the time and just want to be entertained, so that might bring value to them. So it's all about what you want to see and what value they're providing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that ROI, though. I mean, a huge part of ROI is the cost of getting in, right? And I think, and I'd let you, Ronald, talk on this, but I think we can bust some of that myth. I think a lot of people look at vlogging as this huge expense. You have to hire a videographer. You have to have this huge production. We have good cameras in our pockets every day. So, talk a little about self-vlogging and how people can document the stuff on a budget if that's what they want to do.
So you can literally use your phone. It shoots 4K.
A lot of people don't know that. Like, there's literally a setting.
Yeah.
Go open up your setting,
Change your setting,
it to
man.
4K.
Literally, your vlog. You don't even need 4K, but it does. So your phone is pretty much a vlog camera, and then you can use iMovie to edit it if you really want to, or buy Final Cut Pro and just edit it, or pay Premiere and just edit it. Like, it's not hard. just takes a little bit of your time.
I know. See, I'm not a great vlogger, Collin. I think of the time we went to Vegas.
I think you're a great vlogger, dude.
No. I mean,
I think you're great. Stop.
No, what I mean is-
Stop.
What I meant to say was I'm not the guy that whips out the phone and records things because my brain's not wired that way to think about, oh, this is interesting. I remember going to AIM Expo in Vegas with you, and he was like, on the flight there, he's like, you're gonna self vlog for New Scooters for Less. I'm gonna do Repaint. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm game. And I think I recorded maybe 2 seconds just to humor him because I just I walk around and I'm looking around and I'm just kind of in my own little world. At no point do I think, hey, I should whip out the phone and do something.
Have you guys, okay, so there's this viral picture on the internet. It's of a super old lady. She's watching a race or something. She's kind of over the rails, along the side of a race. She's over the rails, and she's just smiling and happy and watching the race, and then everybody else around her has their phones out like this. And it's been commented on so much because it's just they're soaking in the race, and that's you.
Yeah, it really is.
You're the person who's just there soaking it in.
We should replicate that photo just for NSRL.
We should.
We definitely.
No, first of all, I mean, I only, from a pop culture standpoint, I only get what Jen shows me. So if it's a Vine or a meme or something, I don't know it if Jen didn't show it to me.
I speak in memes.
But I learned early on for me, I hate taking pictures. I just, it's not fun for me, but I love to have them. So I just find people that like to do that and travel with them.
Well, I mean, I did end up vlogging for the both of us.
Right. Well, when we went to Italy, I mean, I didn't have to.
Dude,
take
those
any
vlogs came out great.
They did, but I didn't have to take any pictures or record anything because you, Shannon, and Casey had it on lock. It was great for me. I could just sit there and be in Florence, happy, and taking in the sights, and you guys were doing all the heavy lifting.
Those vlogs came out good. I mean, I think it is cool to talk about that. I mean, especially from the stuff that we're doing on the Repaint side, right, Genesis? I mean, we can actually, we have clients that are self-vlogging. I mean, they're using their own footage. Literally, we have clients that are not in Gainesville, right? And they're literally creating content by holding their phone out, recording something, and they send it to us. We might caption it for Instagram. We might make it a vlog. If they do it, they might do several clips of horizontal stuff, holding the phone out in front of their face and just doing, just talking, throughout clips throughout the day, and then we edit those clips together. And I mean, and all they're doing is just sending us the clips. They're filming it themselves. So I mean, we even teach people. I mean, kind of going back to YouTube and how to do. I teach people how to hack it themselves, so they don't have to hire us. Mm-hmm. I think that's a huge part of where, I mean, we've had these conversations before. It's we need, for us, we want to give as much information away and teach people how to do this themselves. I mean, a lot of this is happening on my YouTube channel, by the way. We put a lot of this kind of content out on Collin Austin. Just go to collinaustin.tv, it'll take you there, or repaint.tv. I know that we're putting a bunch of how-to videos on there as well. But we're starting to put this, information out there and teach people how to do it themselves so they don't have to hire us. But we know that by doing that, at some point they're going to reach a level, hopefully their business reaches a level where they're okay, yeah, we need to, now it's time to up our game. Now it's time to take it to the max. No, this is consuming too much of my time doing it myself. And you can baby step it. We could literally you can either do it all yourself, or if you want to just outsource the editing to us, we can do it. I mean, I just want to help businesses create content at the budget that they have and just help them do that. But one thing I've noticed is that if you're not doing your business any favor if you're not creating content for the different channels that are out there. I mean, this is 2019. I mean, social media, everything will change tomorrow. Tomorrow, and we're working with some influencers and stuff now, where literally I'm being told, hey, it went over the 35,000 follower count mark, and I noticed that my Instagram insights, and I noticed that my Instagram stuff inside my profile change, my DM box changed, it's filtering the people who I engage the most with from the ones that I don't, and I mean things I'm I don't know any of this, right? And I'm getting an education through these influencers and stuff, so it's just all fascinating to me. I just think everything that's happening in the social media realm is super fascinating. And
where does it go next?
Oh man. Genesis, you tell us.
What?
Come on, Genesis.
I
On the
mean-
media marketing side, like, where do you think things are going?
It's just gonna get more in depth. Like, I think you're just gonna see a lot more of people engaging, and it's just gonna grow in that sense, which is a good and bad thing, I think. And like, as a person in the social media field, that's kind of like a bad thing to say, but I think we're just gonna get just a lot more out of social media, and it's gonna get a little crazy at first, I think, with any new product or any new integration. But I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I'm excited for that growth.
I know one thing that we've talked a lot about is voice, right? There's a lot of things happening with Google Home and Alexa. I don't want to say it too loud because she'll come on. But a lot of these devices, which we've started creating content for, and just exploring. I think there's a lot happening there. So that's where I think a lot of it's going to end up going.
I think even social media strategy is an interesting topic because it's interesting because almost everybody these days uses social media in some form or fashion, and so they might think that they're experts. But one of the things that stuck for me was when we hired Shannon Smith back in 2015, and she was, New Scooters for Less's Collin was, but first hired social media manager. And one of the things that I remember doing, we had kind of plateaued at like the 600 scooter mark. And she started following, and maybe it was her idea, I don't know, but like she started following what would have probably been UF18 hashtags on Twitter. And she would find them and then just start like, retweeting people that got their acceptance letter and use the hashtag UF18, or, just tweeting at them saying, hey, welcome to Gator Nation. Not a sales pitch, this would be a jab at that point.
That'd be a right hook.
Oh, yeah, sorry, right, yeah. You got it. I'm learning. Like I know the language, but So, but it was interesting because
you should explain that philosophy now.
Well, you should explain it because I already got it wrong.
So Gary Vaynerchuk has like a philosophy, I guess, if you will, that's called jab, 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 right hook, right? And it's more of like you give value, you give, and then you ask. A lot of people so that's the jabs are give, giving value, and like every once in a while that you can throw the right hook, you can ask for business, and I think it's an interesting concept, but because, and what he's getting at is so many businesses, so many people get out on social media and they just start promoting, right? Promote. Like it's all I do is promote. 20% off sale today, 10% off sale tomorrow. Like it's always promoting. That just becomes spammy. That provides no value to anybody. And you lose the attention, right? But if you're like actually plugging away and providing value,
just engagement.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, providing, giving some value, like, and a lot of it is through engagement by like paying attention to it, like just getting involved in the conversations. Somebody's, I don't know, commenting on a post, and you get in there and you answer maybe somebody asks a question and you get in there and you answer the question on somebody else's post. Like that's it. You're not necessarily going in there and saying, hey, check out and you do see this, right? We see this on Instagram where people are like, hey, like, you'll be posting up something like, oh, I had a beautiful day on the beach. Hey, why don't you come over to my business and buy this taco? Like you see that kind of crap all the time. Right. And it's just like, that person's not going to come over and buy a taco, dude.
Right.
Like,
you just spammed them.
But like, if that, hey, if you're by the beach and like that business was going in there and saying, hey, like you're literally less than a half mile away from my favorite like chill out spot or my favorite ice cream store, or my favorite, whatever, like, and it had nothing to do with your business at all. You're like, hey, you're literally like a half mile from this place. If you're in that area, go check this out. Well, then, hey, like, oh, that's cool. Like this business just like told me this more behind the scenes spot that I should check out.
And I'm kind of getting hungry and tacos sound good. Maybe I'll go check this place out.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically like a lot of the philosophy there, right? But basically you should jab way more than you right hook. And then a lot of people also confuse right hook with like taking business or like, no, it's an ask. Like you don't necessarily, I could ask for you to buy a scooter or ask for you to buy a product, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to. It just,
I just know that a senior sitting in, like a high school senior that's sitting at home, wherever they may be, that just got accepted in the University of Florida, that just gets their, hey, I just got in, acceptance, whatever, retweeted by New Scooters for Less, or well, what is that? They're probably going to click on the page and see what it is. And then when they get here and they see all the scooters around, that awareness is already going to be there.
Yeah.
They already know who it is. And
Absolutely, dude.
And I think that's, I mean, we went, in that year that she started doing it, I mean, we grew 200, I mean, we also moved locations, but we grew 200 scooters that year.
Yeah.
The other one that's kind of funny that I remember is UF parking tickets. That was another hashtag that would get searched, and then you just start engaging with those, because anybody that got like a parking ticket in their car, it's just like, oh, here's this like little like by New Scooters for Less, which is a little savage. That's why I like it. But it's funny.
Yeah.
So.
And it worked. I mean,
Right.
It works. I mean, you're just being part of the conversation that's happening in your community at that point, but a lot of people aren't going to put in that time and do that, right? Like those are things that we still do to this day. But you know, it's just a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have the time for that." Okay, well, just realize that somebody does.
Right.
I mean, one of the things that I've talked about that I'm still trying to impress on the New Scooters Plus team is like when I record a 30-second video thanking a customer on my phone and tweeting it to them directly, or sending it through Instagram direct message saying, "Hey Mike, I heard that you came in this week and bought a scooter. Just want to say I'm super grateful for your business. I don't know if you know this, but I founded the company back in 2004, and like your support just means the world to me, and thank you." And just sending that via direct message, dude, that makes the person feel special. Like they, you know what I mean? Like, and they are special because they supported my business. So like,
You made it personal.
yeah, you made it personal, and that goes a long way. And like I send those messages via Twitter, or direct message, and I want our sales team and stuff to do that as well. So I don't know, I mean, I can get into talking about that kind of stuff all the time. I really want to real quick kind of ask you guys about what I call bootstrap life, and
This will be fun.
and like the blend of these companies, because you know, I think there was a lot of conversation last year, right? we talk about Repaint. Repaint literally birthed. I mean, we started early. We started doing business, like, and running it through New Scooters for Less. Like, we did the genuine videos and stuff, like, through New Scooters for Less. And, like, I don't know, it's probably this time, right? March, April, May was kind of when those things were getting kicked off. But when we decided, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to start a business. That business launched. I always talk about my children being born in the middle of August. So another child, Repaint the Wall,
Your third child.
was born right in the middle of August. I mean, literally, it was like back to school.
There are other months that you can have.
I know,
these
man.
babies, just so you know.
It was crazy.
Your
like,
August is pretty filled up, isn't it?
our awesome banker, he came out. Literally came out to the store to have me sign all the documents for the new checking account and everything. I didn't go to the bank. He came here. It was super nice. Shout out to John Roberts. He's the man. Yeah, I mean, it was just right in the middle of August. But, you know, one of the things that I think is interesting is kind of like this culture that we've created of blended company. I want to say, I say blended because I mean we're all in the same space, but we say, okay, are we going to really try to keep everything separate? Where's the line there? Hey, this is like the podcast studio, this is the scooter office, this is the Repaint the Wall office. We also have Angela's team in here with the V events.
It's like our own starter space, really.
I mean, it is, right? It's very much just a blended group of people. I like it that way, but I'm very interested at the team perceptions and the challenges, the frustrations. I don't know. Tell me, Genesis, what do you think?
For me,
be honest though. Do you hate it? Do you like it?
I like it, which is kind of different for me because I usually like to stick to one thing at a time, but New Scooters for Less, Repaint, and even Angela's team has offered me so much knowledge in their respective industries and just working with others that I appreciate that. I've got the sales background with New Scooters for Less and kind of service too. I mean, I can't change your tires. Don't trust me to do that. But but I can check people in and stuff like that. So I got that sales perspective from NS Farrell, and then Repaint. I obviously got my social media and whatnot. And then Angela's team, I'm kind of like a little low-key coordinator. I help them out too. So like I've gotten all these different like I've got my foot in the door in different like places. So that's what I appreciate. As far as like working in the office, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's a little loud and chaotic, but I just plug in my headphones, and if someone needs to reach me, they can just Slack me like you did yesterday.
I slacked her, and I like turn around.
Yeah. Collin, for the people watching, Collin sits over there, and I sit back here. So like I wasn't paying attention; I was just jamming, and he like was like turn around. It
worked.
I think that's the only challenge is like when it gets a little noisy in here, it can be hard to focus. But there's this whole dealership that you can literally sit anywhere at. So
I was
yeah,
gonna say there's rarely enough chairs in here.
Yeah.
Rarely.
yeah, that too. You got to fight for chairs like with people and the cat like that.
And the cat, yeah.
I mean, and Ronald, like, you work a lot off-site because you have like your own setup and you like to edit like in your peace and quiet, and that, like, which is cool. I mean, talk a little bit about like because this is something that I'm interested in as we grow, is how we continue to be flexible with remote style team members. Like, is that something that one you value, or are you looking forward to one day, like us having a space that you can come and edit, or you like want to continue to do it from home, or a little bit of both? Like, I mean, what are you thinking long term?
For me personally, I'd like to have the flexibility to do either. Like if that day I just want to wake up at 10 and just edit to like 10 p.m., cool, I can do that. Or if I want to show up to the office and just grind out at the office, then that's cool too. But I'm definitely looking forward to a space that we can just like sit and just hammer out just everybody all at once.
Yeah.
Because it's inspiring to like just see everybody just working their tails off.
I used to be like that when I studied at UF. Like, I could not study at home to save my life. I would have to get to the library just because I needed to be around other people that were working and not, having that distraction. If I was home and I was too comfortable, couldn't study.
I'm the
but
opposite.
if I was at the library around other people that were also studying for exams, then I could do my best. So I definitely like being around people that are working. But,
That's interesting, because I'm like literally the opposite.
the opposite.
Yeah.
Tony, do you have any issues with the team sharing or any?
Well, it doesn't really affect me. Well, until lately, I do have to search for computers when I do need them, but it's really not that big of a deal. There's always an available computer somewhere.
You ever just see somebody walk through the dealership and you're like, I have no idea if this person works here or not?
Oh, so many times. Yeah, so many times that, I mean, it's kind of commonplace now. You kind of keep an eye and make sure that they end up talking to somebody, not just someone wandering. But
What can we do better as leaders to ensure, that everybody's on the same page as we continue to grow? I mean, because I'll be honest, one thing that I don't necessarily like about myself right now is that, and I know it's just because of the startup like grind again. One, I'll be completely honest with everybody. I love startup life. Like, there's something about it. The beginning. There's something about like building something and getting through that hump and knowing the odds are against startups, and like there's something there that I just love. And I'm very much in that startup grind right now. You look at my calendar, there's literally not a minute between meetings, and I love that. Like, it's crazy that I like absolutely love it. Like, I like showed my calendar to somebody, I'm like, yeah, there's zero time this week, like zero time.
It gives
for
me
me to meet with
anxiety
you.
seeing his calendar.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but the thing that I don't like about it is that I feel that, I'm very much in a hurry when I'm coming in and out of the dealership, that I'm not taking necessarily the time I would like to take to like give I don't know, like kind of check in.
Be a part of the team, really.
Like check in at the tech list, being like, hey, yo, like, how's it going, man? How's everything been? How's that? Like, I probably just need to start scheduling time for that. That's like the one thing that I've just noticed has kind of changed over the last couple months. And it's just because I'm always in a hurry bouncing between meetings and stuff. I still want to be very accessible, I guess, and so I need to like get better at that. But I'm kind of just interested in the outside perception on that. Like, what does it even bother you guys? Are you guys like, Dan Collin's just like in and out, or are you guys?
No, because it wasn't a sudden thing. It gradually ended up happening, and you informed us all that you're setting aside that Mike is 100% in charge. I mean, we had that whole, what was it? Mike's in charge. Hashtag Mike's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was given a shirt that said hashtag Mike's in charge.
Yeah,
for my,
Mike's in charge. Yeah.
5th anniversary, I think.
So, and we all know what you're doing. So I don't think it bothers anybody really that you're kind of been isolating yourself just to that, because you are getting it started up. So you.
What do you guys?
Attention.
I mean, I know I see you guys more than I do the NSRL team at this point, but are you guys just kind of like, dude, I wish you'd say hi to me once in a while?
I mean, you say hello when you enter the room.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, but like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just, I need to be more intentional. Like, it's almost like work-life balance, right? Like, I got to be intentional. I got to like schedule that time in with my family, whether it's like soccer practice with the kids or date nights with the wife. Like, being very intentional. What I'm starting to discover is that I need to be the same way with simple things, like checking in with my team. Or just saying hello, like hey, how are things going, and like. Well,
there's not that many team members around that were here before the repaint, when you were more involved with us over here and coming. This maybe 3 or 4.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's literally
other than myself,
team members at New Scooter Celeste that I got to introduce myself to.
Right.
So, hey, I don't know if you know this, but like,
so we're the only ones that saw the difference was those couple of team members. And again, we've been here long enough to understand why you're doing it and the reason for it. So I don't think it's a big issue at all.
Yeah.
Putting your head down and working is part of bootstrap life, startup life, and everything. It's also hard though. Like, I can tell you, there's an employee with New Scooters that's going through some stuff, and I had to send her a text message yesterday, and I was like, look, I just want to go ahead, and I almost didn't even want to send it, but I was like, I have to apologize if I come across as terse or like non-empathetic to what you're going through, but it's just because like I'm in like head down mode trying to make sure that we can deal with your absence and make sure all of our things, but like it's not that I don't care, and I almost didn't even want to send it because I didn't want to give myself the excuse to be like that. But it's just hard because it's like, yeah, you go take care of what you got to do. Like, I'm sorry that you're going through it. Fine, go. I've got to make sure that we can still run, And the truth is, I'm like a severely emotional person, and I like grieve alongside my friends that go through things. But if I stop and do that in that moment, it'll knock me out for the day. So it's kind of a self-preservation thing too. But it's hard to balance that because you don't want to come across as inaccessible or not empathetic or not caring or anything. But
yeah,
it's hard.
It is hard.
I want to end on a bad note.
No, I mean, it's
quick
real
question.
life.
How did the name Repaint?
I was actually just watching. You had like some micro content or something on there, and I was watching it the other day, and I was like, oh, he dropped my name a couple times. That was nice.
Yeah.
on the content.
Yeah, it was like a thing at CYM. I think someone was.
Oh yeah, she was interviewing. It's one of my hacks. I'm like trying to create more blogs. My problem is that I don't have time to get my blogs up. But like somebody, Felicia Lee that's her name, was helping me write some blog content. So she was literally interviewing me on some topics that she had researched and about our companies, and then she's turning it into like taking my words and turning it into a blog. So the blogs are like
she's ghostwriting for you.
They're my words. They're just like I'm just not typing them up.
Tell the story, Mike.
Yeah, and so like she was asking me about so you're talking about when she was asking me about the name Repaint the Wall and where it came from. Yeah.
I mean, you told the story really well.
No, I talk too much on this podcast.
But the story come from you.
Right. So
One night.
So for everybody who wants to know where the name Repaint the Wall is, because a lot of people think you're not a painting company, so why are you called Repaint the Wall? So here's how it happened.
we were drunk one night. No, so no, but honestly,
Facts.
We were struggling for a while to come up with how we were going to name the company. And I'm actually just going to paraphrase everything you said because you told it so well. Right. But so, I mean, we use Slack as an internal communication device with both of our teams. And so we just had this thread about, okay, what are we going to name it? And we had some really funny ideas and some really unfortunate ideas, I remember. But
Hey Ronald, that was my favorite. If you guys ever remember the show Hey Arnold,
Yeah.
I wanted to name the company Hey Ronald. Hey Ronald.
Oh my gosh.
Ronald, that would have been epic, bro.
that would have been good.
That would have been amazing.
Nice.
So it was actually Ronald.
So how do you feel me? I feel like that'd be great.
It was actually Ronald that came over to the Slack channel and was like, repaint the wall. It's got to be repaint the wall. And
That
everyone
was a joke, by the way. I didn't mean
really?
Really?
Oh, the truth comes out.
Oh, here we go.
Because I was remembering so much of the story. At first, I was remembering the night that
Right.
the story was told, and then I went to thinking about it, and then I remember I rolled a detailed paragraph. I'm like, no, wait, hold on, shit. Like this totally. I mean,
Right.
sorry, this totally makes sense. Like this should totally be it.
That was when you introduced me to Pisco, I think. Yeah. He says yes. So I think everybody else. I mean, you might not even know what he was talking about.
I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, what the hell are you talking
hell
about?
is
Repaint the wall.
So the story goes back to the original location of New Scooters for Less, which was out in the Northwest Industrial Park here in Gainesville, and we were at this stage where we were what, you were 22, 23. I mean, when we
age, yeah.
when we filled into it was Suite C at the time. So we had Suite A, which was kind of a showroom front, warehousing in the back, and then Suite C, which became more of an office area. But there was this middle kind of nowhere man's room.
It's a transitional hallway.
Transition hallway, yeah.
It had, like, cardboard
and it had,
boxes in it or
so
something.
we did a lot of order fulfilling for stuff that we sold on eBay at that time. And that's where like all the boxes and packing supplies and tape and all that kind of stuff was. But we painted the whole room just jet black. I mean, the ceiling, the shelves, the walls, everything was jet black.
You're stupid.
It was like being in a recording studio or something else. And it came time you were moving the business to the second location, which was on 14th Ave, and you bought all the supplies. Collin bought all the supplies to repaint that room. It became kind of a ethical thing where he wanted to make sure that he returned it exactly like he had it. And I think you even said, at least in that piece, and I don't know if I knew this, if that was true, but that the cost of the supplies, between your time and the labor, the supplies to paint it, actually cost more than the security deposit he was going to get back. But it was more of a, I signed things saying that it was going to be this way, and it wasn't about getting the security deposit back. It was about, making it better than he found it, or at least the same as he found it, definitely not worse.
Yeah, because I was just like, man, this person trusts me with their property. I just was like, I'm not gonna leave it and just lose the security deposit.
Right.
That just wasn't in me, I guess.
And I mean, Stathi was the landlord at the time, and I mean, he's kind of funny. When we tell a story at the end of the run, whenever this is going to be, that we write down all of our books, Stathi's actually a good character in that story, because I mean, he was our landlord for so many years. And I mean, even as recent as a couple of years ago, we were still leasing space from him. But yeah, anyway, so Collin repainted the wall is where we're getting at. He repainted the wall, and it was kind of just a story that stuck with me, just about doing the right thing, making the ethical decisions, returning something back, either how you found it or better than you found it. And then I would have never named a business that way. I didn't see the segue until Ronald said, hammered out this paragraph about why it would make sense. And we talk about, doing the things that Repaint was going to do between the vlogging, the videography, the social media, the personal branding. It is almost like a rebrand of certain businesses. Which, I mean, the analogies are there.
There's so many, dude. I mean,
yeah.
talk about like,
We wanted to leave you better than we found you.
Yeah,
Right.
the core values are in the name itself. I mean, you're talking about like, creating brands that have like ripple effects. Like Repaint the Wall has, like something so minor had such huge ripple effects. I didn't even know that.
You had no idea how much that story
stuck
impacted
with.
me, yeah.
Yeah, like I had no idea that story even stuck with anybody. I think that goes to show. I mean, even kind of circling back around to a lot of the content talk and a lot of things, like, so many people are afraid to create content for social media and these types of things because they're so afraid of being judged, or they're not sure if it is providing any value. And like the truth is, like, you could put so much great knowledge or like teach or do whatever you want when it comes to content creation, and like you'll be lucky if people actually tell you like, oh, that actually meant a lot to me, or that actually had an impact on me. Like the amount of times people will reach out and tell you, like, are probably few to none, right? But like, but I've had, but it does, and you might not even know about it for years to come.
Yeah, you talk about that ripple effect, and so that story when you first told it to me, which I can't even. Gosh, I mean, it's impossible to pin down whenever you first told me that, because I was there when the room was black, and then I left, obviously. But it always had an effect on me, and all it took was 3/4 of a bottle of Pisco for me to start telling that story to Ronald. And then maybe a month later, I don't know what the timeline was. Yeah, months later, I found that my retelling of the story had an effect on him.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
I'm telling you, the ripple effect of that painting that room was the fact that somebody did not have to paint that room. If you've ever painted a black room, which you obviously did, but it's not fun, nor is it easy.
And it's multiple coats of paint.
And you did the ceiling black too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Everything, dude. The floor, everything. It was.
if Staffy, if you watch this or listen to it, tell us how thankful you are that you didn't have to paint that, please.
That was crazy. So I mean, we got to wrap up, and this has actually been kind of fun though.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we rolled with the punches. I think that's important in business. Like, hey, some things are gonna happen, roll with the punches, but this was a great opportunity to highlight 3 great individuals and also reflect a lot back on some of that history and share a little bit more of our story, which was cool too, and some of the things coming. So let's talk about, like, where do you guys think these companies are gonna be in, like, I don't know, just say 2 years' time?
I'm hoping so big that you have a music department. I think it's going to grow steadily. Both company, this NS4L has grown since I've been here, and it was already big when I got here, and Repaint has been growing since it started. So I think it's just going to keep going forward.
Yep.
We're gonna be making movies.
You start to see where everybody's passion.
Michael Bay, watch out!
Yeah.
No, I mean, hopefully big personal brands and kind of bigger projects coming along. I like the Josh Greenberg stuff; those are really fun.
You guys, that Josh Greenberg video is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're only supposed to do like two edits of it. Ended up doing like 11, and I know that I mean, and I ended up nitpicking like over and over and over. I mean, I think that's definitely the value that we're gonna bring in a lot of this, is like, especially for something that is dedicated to somebody's legacy, like that Josh Greenberg project was. I cried so many times during the making of that, and I'm just like, dude, if this video were about me, I would want it to be perfect. You know, we just kept, and I just stayed on that, and I'm like, we got to change this, we got to fix this, we got to do this. I mean, there was even one part where you had to mask something because there was like a drip on something, and I didn't like it. It was this little drip, and I'm like, I don't like it. I'm like, we either go and reshoot it or like figure something. I mean, but like just paying that kind of attention to detail, I mean, it means so much. It means so much to me in business. I mean, we've had these conversations even New Scooters for Less. I mean, I talk about things as simple as like showroom cleanliness, and like the layout and everything being perfect, and like the cleanliness of the service department, like things like that. I mean, I reflect to the point of like, hey, I know that when a parent sees like, man, this place, they pay so much attention to detail in this instance, that I know that when my daughter breaks down on the side of the road, that they're going to pay attention to detail, pay attention to that's going to matter. And like, I just think that's important in business, and the amount of detail that you guys did on like with that video was superb, dude. I think you guys crushed it, and so thank you for helping me help Startup GNV ensure that his legacy lives on, because Josh Greenberg was just such an impactful person on this community. But it was awesome. So, what are you gonna think we're gonna be in 2 years? Just making movies?
No, not making movies. No, but definitely having bigger accounts for like personal branding. Mostly bigger accounts for personal branding, doing a lot of YouTube stuff, and hopefully videos like that, like Josh Greenberg. Maybe once in a while, just bigger projects like that.
Yeah, I've not been shy in telling people that I think we will be doing a lot of personal branding. I 100% would have no problem with it becoming a personal branding agency. Now, we do have a lot of businesses, and I love working and building businesses. I mean, it's just something I'm passionate about, but the personal branding stuff, really, I don't know, it just really excites me. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's cool to see some of the special CEOs and people that we're working with that have that it factor. It's cool to help them. So I agree. I'm interested. Genesis, what do you think? 2 years time, Repaint. Like, where are we gonna be?
I agree with most of what Ronald said, or like pretty much everything he said. I just see us in our own space and with our own little studio and stuff like that. And I see the team growing. I love the team we have now, but I definitely see it growing.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about you're talking about our own studio space, this type of thing. We've been putting together a plan, right? I mean, it's still early, but we're going to we're thinking about creating, like, it's called Patreon.
Yeah.
Right? For the podcast, where people could, like, subscribe to special things and, I don't know, like, behind the scenes access to stuff. And, like, that's how we're going to end up funding the studio for the podcast, and things like that, right? It's kind of like...
Yeah, so we're trying to, like, monetize the podcast and just provide value to our listeners and our viewers, for those of you that watch it. So we're trying to, like, just the way I see it is kind of creating a relationship with them besides just listening to us or watching us. We're going to provide them with, like, behind the scenes access, clips they don't normally get to see, like what goes on maybe minutes before or after the podcast, side conversations, stuff like that. If we end up going over time and talking about the Starbucks cup and Game of Thrones, like that kind of content we'll provide to them. And, also like gear, like t-shirts and stickers and mugs and stuff like that. So we definitely want to provide or give back value to our listeners and our community, whether it be Gainesville or beyond.
Cool.
Yeah.
So podcast fan, be on the look for that, because one, we've invested a lot of money into this, and there's just a lot more to come, but we're gonna need some help. So we'll be letting you know more about that. But I knew that we've talked about multiple times monetizing in unique ways, and I'm sure we'll do some sponsorship stuff, like on the show as well, but like definitely wanted to come up with some unique ways and do some unique things. So I'm excited about it. But so thank you for all your hard work on it, and this was fun. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was a good pivot.
It was making a lemonade out of lemons. Of getting a text being like, I'm not gonna make it. No. So, but yeah, it's it. Hey, I would love for everybody who is listening to reach out. You guys want to like Instagram handles, plugs, Instagram handles, anything?
I guess, okay.
No. You don't have to if you don't want people to.
My name is Genesis, and you can find me by finding me. Thanks.
Perfect.
Ronald Perez, and then throw a 5 every single time.
5. Ronald Perez 5.
Anthony Valentine at myspace.com.
There you go. That's awesome. Oh man, my MySpace name. My MySpace name.
Calling all the girls.
I will give anything for MySpace to come back. The original MySpace was pretty dope.
Dude,
100%
it will.
Okay, then we're going to start a campaign to bring back MySpace.
The nostalgia behind it will be huge, and as long as I get to keep my name, calling all the girls.
Oh, as long as I get to like make my page look like me,
all right.
that was the best part of that.
Yeah. Well, all right, we gotta go. This has
been fun.
It was fun. See you, everybody. This is WHOA GNV Podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa. We will see you later. Bye.